everyone, it's Nicole from Nicole Loves Nails. Welcome to my channel.
So keep me in your sight, 'cause I can do this all night.
So today's video is for the newest collection from OPI. This is their summer 2023 collection called Make the Rules. It's an interesting collection for sure. So we have 12 like neon pastel-ish kind of formulas to work with. Got a lot of thoughts on these. I got a lot of thoughts. So yeah, before we get into today's video, I do want to mention a couple of things. The first being, if you are new around here, hi, I am Nicole. It is wonderful to meet you and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Do consider hitting subscribe if you enjoy nail polish related content. I upload new videos every single week on Tuesdays and Saturdays, sometimes also on Fridays, featuring a mixture of indie, mainstream, as well as boutique nail polish brands. I also go live every Sunday. If you are in fact a returning subscriber, welcome back. How are you doing? Just how the heck is everyone doing? As I was saying, so today's video is for the newest collection from OPI. I will fully admit when I purchased these polishes, I was hoping for a much different color story than what we ended up getting. But I was like, Nicole, don't be negative. They're bright. We'll like them. It's fine. Yeah. Alrighty, so as always, down in the description box, I'll have links to the OPI social media pages, my social media pages, as well as a link to my blog post on NicoleLovesNails.com where I host all of my swatch photos. This collection is starting to pop up on online retailers. I have not yet seen it in stores, but I'm sure it will be popping up pretty soon. But I will have some links in the description box if you want to pick these up. Those links are affiliate links, so it's like if you click the link, I do make a small commission on your order at no added cost to you. So also in the description box, I will have some timestamps if you want to jump around, skip ahead, yada yada yada. Let's get into this video. Alrighty, first up we have I Quit My Day Job. This one is described as being a bubblegum pink cream. Formula on this one, not great. I found for pretty much all the polishes in this release, like you want to do as minimal brush strokes as humanly possible. So I really wanted to love this polish because I do love a bright bubblegum pink cream, and that is exactly what this polish is. However, this polish dries down very quickly. So if you do anything more than just like the quick 3 brush stroke method, you will start picking up your previous layers and cause bald spots. This polish was one of several in the release that really made me question if I actually know how to paint my nails because like the struggle, there was a lot of struggle. I swatched I Quit My Day Job in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. This polish does dry down pretty dull, so you will want top coat if you want a glossy finish. We have 2 pinks in this release. Side by side, there are some differences between the two, but like I still question why they're in the same release. We'll fully admit that the 2 pinks are similar enough that like there were several moments where like I had to triple check that I had the right footage for the right polishes. So anywho, Makeout-side had that same disappointing formula. Like this is such a pretty color. It's really a shame that the formulation was just so streaky, so hard to work with. I'm even more disappointed that like the level of streakiness is not translating well on camera at all. Like I feel like the footage makes this look really nice. And I will admit, like build it up in 3 careful coats, throw on some top coat. It looks pretty nice, but like getting to that point, like you have to work so quickly and minimal brush strokes, and like do not even think about trying to fix your brush strokes because that will not work in your favor. And now we have Flex on the Beach. OPI describes this one as a bold coral cream. This polish looks completely different on the nail than it does in the bottle. I found in the bottle it looked like a pink leaning coral. I found on the nail it's a lot more orange leaning. I have very warm undertone, so it's completely within like possibility that like just based on my natural skin color that this did just look a little bit more orangey on me than it does in the bottle. You can see like in my bottle shot here where like it looks super orange on my nails, but in the bottle it looks pink. It's just very strange. I feel like here in natural lighting, the pinky salmoniness is coming out a little bit more, but you can still see very clearly that the color on the nail is still different than the color in the bottle. This was also very streaky, very difficult to work with, dried down very quickly, dried down matte, and I did have some dark spots on the nail after 3 coats. Next up we have Sanding In Stilletos. OPI describes this one as a pearl nude. Is that right?
A few moments later.
Yes, I did just double check. They are calling this a pearl nude. I personally would go with more of like a pearlescent peachy orangey shade and not necessarily like a nude. While I don't personally like the pearlescent finishes OPI seems to really like doing, I had really high hopes that like the pearlescent finishes in this release would be like really good because usually the OPI formula is really good. However, this polish along with all the other pearls in this release all have that same really really quick drying formula, which I just don't feel works great with this pearlescent finish. Like, I really tried floating my brush so much to really just give like really even coats, but like I couldn't get the coats even because the polish kept drying. So then I tried overworking it to like even it out. Then I caused more bald spots and it was just horrendous. So yeah, lots of bald spots with this one. I swatched it in 3 coats plus glossy top coat and just, yeah, I'm not a fan. Next up is Sunscreening My Calls, which OPI describes as a pearl yellow. Sunscreening My Calls is one of those shades of yellow that looks very chartreusey, very green on the nail. Also, I just wanted to show what I meant when I say like the more you work the polish, the more bald spots you create. You see how I'm overworking it here and I'm making little bald spots on the nail, and it doesn't get better when you do it on, say, your 2nd or 3rd coat. Like, it will go all the way down and you'll then have like a bald spot where you can see your actual nail poking through all the layers of the polish. As a person who really likes yellow polishes, I was just super disappointed by this one. Like, the streakiness, the quick dryness, and just trying to get the coats even just made this one a very difficult sell for me. Like, on top of me just not liking pearlescent finishes. On top of all of the other issues, this one also does seem to be a bit of a stainer. Yes, I was wearing base coat when it stained me, and yes, it stained both my natural nail and my overlay, so beware. And speaking of stainers, we have Stay Out All Bright, which OPI describes as a vivid yellow cream. From like your full length arm away, this one looks really nice on the nail. However, when you bring your hand closer up to your face, you will see some dark spots on the nail in 3 coats I found. However, I would not call this one a yellow. It is definitely more of like a chartreuse. I would even go so far as to say like a sickly shade of chartreuse. Not quite prugly, but leaning towards in that direction. I wanted to love this color so badly because I love shades of like chartreuse like this. However, it was very, very thin and very, very streaky. I was trying really hard to float my coats on to minimize like brush strokes, but then I ended up just flooding my cuticle crevices, and it was real difficult with this one, but like I wanted to love it so badly. So I swatched this one in 3 coats plus a glossy top coat. It does dry down flat, and yes, it does stain. This is another one that stained both my natural nail as well as my overlay. And now we have Sunday, Monday, Fridays. OPI describes this one as a bright green creme. So again, same exact formula as the other creams. It dries very quickly, it is very streaky, and just an overall disappointing formula. Despite me knowing full well that this polish does not like to be overworked, you guys are about to see me overwork it anyway. Like, my brain just keeps telling me that I could definitely fix it, but you know, I just cause light spots, so we're gonna go in for a 3rd coat. I'm honestly a little skeptical on this could be like a good, even 2 coat coverage for anyone, as it does seem to dry down a little bit more sheer than it applies. As far as the color goes, it's a really pretty color. It's really bright, it's really vibrant. It is lighter than I would consider a Kermit the Frog green, but it is not like a pea soup green. Like, it's just a little bit too bright to be pea soup green. And unfortunately, this one is another stainer. I would recommend doubling up on your base coat if you're really committed to wearing this polish. And next up we have Yacht Leaving. OPI describes this one as an electric turquoise cream. I love colors like this so much, but the formula, once again, super, super disappointing. It's very streaky, it dries very quickly, it dries down to that kind of semi-matte finish. The positive side, it was not so thin that it felt watery. I was able to float my brush reasonably easily without making like a gigantic mess. Biggest thing is just remembering not to overwork the polish. For me at least, is really difficult to like not go with that compulsion, because like when you see it's so uneven that you want to try to fix that unevenness, but like the self-leveling was not great. It was one of the more disappointing polishes because even at arm's length away, I could still see that coverage was not in any way even. But it didn't stain, so there is that. Now we have Surf Naked, which OPI describes as a sky blue pearl. So one more time, same exact formula as all the other pearls in this release. Quick dry time, dries down matte. Don't overwork it like I keep doing. I'm so sorry. Like, the compulsion is just so strong in me to try to fix things and make it even. And dealing with polishes where you can't fix them, it's frustrating to say the least. And honestly, I can't recall the last time I had a collection that was this big where I struggled with every single polish. And so, you know, like there are definitely times where like I can say an application isn't great, but the overall product looks so good I could deal with it. But I just feel like the overall final product of most of the polishes in this release just is not good. and that makes it even more frustrating. It's 3 coats plus top coat of Surf Naked. Next up we have Charge It to Their Room, which OPI describes as a deep periwinkle cream. As far as formula goes, this one was one of the more decent polishes in the release. If there was one polish that like I would put up with the application for the final product, it would be this one. I didn't struggle with this one nearly as much as some of the other polishes. This one is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on application. If you're able to really float your brush and really cover up your whole nail, I could really see this one being a 2 coater. Still, don't overwork it because you will cause bald spots on your nail. I end up swatching Charge It to Their Room in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. Again, you do need top coat to give this a nice glossy finish, and I had no issues with staining. Next up we have Skate to the Party. OPI describes this one as a bright violet cream. Formula on this one, it was okay. It was not the best, it was not the worst, it was fairly decent. It is very streaky, it does dry down matte. My biggest complaint about this one is I just wish that it wasn't a 3 coater. Like I just feel like coverage was not great in 2 coats, that I definitely needed that 3rd coat to just get full even coverage. It's just so disappointing when you have a color that is just so pretty like this one. It's just way too streaky in 2 coats to say it's passable in 2. Will fully admit though, if the application formula wasn't so terrible, I wouldn't have been mad about this one being a 3 coater because it is a little bit light, but they weren't, so I'm not. And the final polish in the collection is called Bikini Boardroom. OPI describes this one as a pearl lavender shade. This was a surprise for me. I don't generally love colors like this, but I kind of like this one. Polish had one of the better application processes in the release. You do still get a lot of brush strokes because this is a pearl finish. Coverage was surprisingly even. This was the only polish in the entire release that I only needed 2 coats to reach full opacity. Also might be a factor on why I like this one because I felt so frustrated swatching this collection. Still dries down pretty quickly, but not so quickly that I had a hard time getting it applied, and that is 2 coats of Bikini Boardroom plus glossy top coat. Alrighty, so final thoughts. I expected much better formulas from OPI than these were. I like to think of myself as someone who, you know, I know how to paint my nails. Like I feel like I've got that skill set down pretty good. And even I found myself really struggling with these. These are the kind of polishes you do not want to even attempt to overwork. These are the kind just like brush stroke, brush stroke, brush stroke, stop. That's the kind of polishes these are. And like they dry so quickly. I talked about this in like my China Glaze video for their summer collection, that I find myself, if this collection was released like 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I was having to really, I'll say fight with the formulas, that like the final look that I got in 3 coats, I would say yes, this was definitely good. Like it looks really, the final result? That sounds good. Yeah, the final result is nice enough in 3 coats with top coat. I'm like, okay, I can definitely see myself wearing this again. But like, I feel like now I have enough like bright, poppy, neon pastel kind of formulations in my collection that like, I don't see myself ever reaching for these again outside of like pulling them out for comparisons, because the formulas, they weren't the best. I'm actually not going to be picking any top picks from this release. That's because disappointed! I don't really want to recommend polishes that like I know for sure that I'm not ever going to reach for them again, other than like pulling out comparisons. And speaking of comparisons, I apologize for not doing comparisons for this video. The main reason why I didn't is 1, timing, and 2, these polishes had me so aggravated that like I just didn't want to. So this is the third summer 2023 collection that I have swatched thus far. And currently, I would say Essie is currently in the lead for best formula. China Glaze is in the lead for best color story, in my personal opinion, but some of those formulas were a little wonky. And OPI is at the bottom. I will have the Orly summer collection coming up. I'm really hoping that those formulas are better. Yeah. So I love to know what everyone else saw this release. Like, are you gonna pick these up? Have you already picked them up? Are you regretting it? Let me know. I'm always curious on what everyone else thinks of these things. So before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, besties. Thank you all so much. I love you guys so much, and just I really appreciate all of your support. Just thank you all so much. Your names are all on the screen right now. If you would like to join my channel memberships, I will have a link for that in the description box. But as per usual, don't feel pressured to join. Just, you know, like the video, comment, share. If you know some folks who like OPI swatching, just give me a little recommendation, you know? Help a girl out. Alright, just thank you all so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like the video before you leave. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! I wish I knew what you two were doing. Sassy and Fluffernutter are the best of friends. Fluffernutter just got neutered the other day, so Sassy's been helping him keep clean. Yeah, Sass, it's you. Hi. Sassy, you took his toy. Remember I told you to be nice? Say, I am nice, Mama.